All right, so as you see, this thing is called solving equations. Right now, we haven't really solved for anything, but now we are going to solve for something. Let's talk about that word equation. Equation kind of has a word in there that you've seen. Oops, I hate when that happens. All right, so let's talk about equation. What word in here do you see that you kind of know what that means? That equal, what does that mean? Equal, that's right, okay? If something is equal to something else, that's an equation. So you got to have an equal sign. So when you have an equation, you must have an equal sign. So if I said something like this, we've done these things before where it says simplify. So I don't know, like 3x squared over 6x to the negative fifth. Okay, this is not an equation. You're not solving for anything. All you're doing is simplifying. This is called an expression, all right, because it doesn't have an equal sign. An equation is different. Right here, you would say, okay, 3 goes into 3 once, it goes into that twice. Take this thing, put it to the top, that's that. So this is going to be what? X to the 7th over what? 2. So you simplified the expression. You haven't solved for anything. You haven't found what a variable is equal to. I don't know what x is equal to. And with this situation right here, I have no idea what x is equal to. And there's no way to figure out what x is actually equal to. Okay? But what we're doing today, and you've done before in your math classes previous to this, is to actually solve for x. It's not always going to be x. It could be any letter, but we use x a lot. So let's just do something super easy. I'm not even going to give you like a way to solve for it. Let's just think of this in our head. What does this mean? What does this x mean? It's called a variable. All right, let's write that word down. It's a variable. What does variable mean? Variable means it could vary. It could do what? Give me a good word. It could, yeah, but just the word vary, okay? When I say variable or vary, it could be anything. It could be anything, okay? It could vary. It could change, right? It could be anything. Everybody with me on that? But in this particular situation, it can only be one thing in order for the left side of what? What do I mean by the left side, right side? The left side of the equal sign, that's right. This is our dividing, well, not dividing as far as math, but our separation, okay? This is our separation, that equal sign. So I have a left side of the equal sign. So what's on the left side of this equal sign? Just talk to me. On the left side, x plus 3. That's on the left side. What's on the right side of the equal sign? It's a 5, okay. So we got that straight. We know left side, we know right side. Right side of what? Left side of what? Of the equal sign. You with me on that? I'm going quick because you've seen this before, but I want to make sure that we cover it. This variable means it could be a number that I want the left side to equal the right side. I want this left side to equal 5. There's only one number that I could put in for x that will make the left side equal the right side. And what would that number be? It's 2. That's right, because 2 plus 3 is 5. Is there any other number I could put in for x to make the left side equal the right side? No, there's not, okay? We say that x, you'll hear this, you'll hear it from me every once in a while, but you'll hear a lot of teachers, professors, and things like that. We say x satisfies the equation. Satisfies. Did I write that? Did I spell that right? No, there's no S there. No, there is. Why in the world can I not spell this word? Satisfy. Satisfies. There we go. Did I spell it right? Just looks weird. I don't know why. That is right, though. Okay, it satisfies the equation. Okay. Did I spell it right? Satisfy. Yeah. Well, satisfy, but when you plural it, it's IES. It just looks weird. I don't know why. All right. You ever do that? You write a word you've written 100,000 times, and it looks so weird, and you're like, that can't be right. Anyway, that's one of my times. So it satisfies the what? The equation. Okay? So it means it makes the left side equal the right side. That's basically what it means to satisfy the equation. Everybody good with that? And you could do a bunch of other ones. You could do this. Watch. 8 minus x equals 4. So what is x going to be? Just in your head, without doing any like steps or anything. It's 4. That's right. 8 minus 4 is equal to 4. So 4 satisfies the equation. Or we could just say x equals what? 4. Okay, let's do another one. 12 divided by x equals 4. Again, in your head, 12 divided by what number is going to give you a 4? 3, right. So I say 3 satisfies the equation, or x equals what? 3. Let's do one more just in our head, and then we're going to learn a way to solve these. Okay, so 5x equals 30. So just in your head, what does this mean? Is this 5 plus? Is it 5 times? Is it 5 divided by? What is it? What's going on here? It's 5 times, right? When they're just next to each other, there's no sign in between them. That means you're multiplying them together. So this says 5 times what number is going to equal 30? What is that number? It's 6, right? 5 times 6 equals 30. So x equals what? 6. But what we're going to do is go through a series of steps and show you how to solve things. In Algebra 1, you probably learned this already. Let's go to the first one right here. So if I said x plus 3, I'll show you how we solve this instead of just looking at it and coming up with it in our head. Because you're not always going to be able to look at these things and come up with an answer in our head. There's something that's going to be way too complicated to do that, right? But here's what we want to do. We want to get x by itself. Or here's another word that math teachers like to use a lot. We want to isolate x. What does that mean, to isolate it? Get it what? By itself. That's right. To isolate something, we get it by itself. So you'll hear that word, from time to time. Isolate the x. Get it by itself. So what's on the same side with the x that we want to get rid of so that x is by itself? The 3, okay? And so now we look at the 3. We know we got to get rid of the 3. Now we determine what is that 3 doing to the x. What's that 3 doing to the x? What's it doing to it? It's added, right? It's being added, isn't it? Everybody see that? All right, so in order to get rid of something, we just do the opposite of it. All right, so what's the opposite of adding something? Subtracting, right? So I'm going to subtract a 3. Oops. I keep pushing that button on my thing. Now, everybody listen. Here's the basic rule of algebra. If there was one rule in algebra that you wanted to learn, and that was it, that's all you could learn, it would be this one, all right? Whatever you do to one side, talk to me, you got to do the other side. That is a fundamental rule in algebra, all right? It's super important. So, because it balances it out. Because I can't just subtract something from over here. Think of it as a scale. Everybody watch. The scale is even right now, right? See my hands? That's the scale, all right? If I take something away, I've made it uneven, haven't I? But if I want to keep it even, what am I going to have to do to this side over here? I'm going to have to take away the same amount, correct? And then boom, it's even. Now they're even again. Make sense? So that's what we have to do with these equations. We've got to make them even. So if I subtracted a 3 from here, then what do I got to do over here? I got to subtract a 3 over here. I know this is really basic. You probably did this in pre-algebra. You probably did this in like 7th grade or 8th grade. All right, but I'm going to teach it again. All right, so here we go. What happens to this plus 3 minus 3? Okay, we say cancel out a lot, and it's fine. I'll say cancel out a ton, okay? But I want you to know exactly what's happening, though. It's plus 3 minus 3, which is what? But it's a 0. It comes out to 0, doesn't it? Okay? So what's x plus 0? It's x. Okay? So that's why we say it cancels out. Because they go away, but why do they go away? Because they add up to 0, right? And x plus 0 is just what? X. Oops. Man, I wish they'd get rid of this button. I keep pushing this button on this pen. Let me move my fingers. All right, girls, let's stop, okay? It's really irritating. Everybody else is listening, and then you guys got to be doing that. So watch. That adds up to 0. We don't have to show x plus 0. We can just cancel them out. And again, like I said, Noah said cancel out. I'm perfectly fine with you saying cancel out, but I want you to know why they cancel out, okay? Over here, and then we bring down the equal sign, and then we've got this. 5 minus 3 is 2. Well, we did that in our head, right? But this is the steps. This is what you're supposed to be doing. You could have them where it's a little bit more involved. Let's do this. Let's get the x by itself. So what is on the same side with the x that we want to get rid of? The 8. Yeah, let's get rid of the 8. Now look at the 8. Is this a positive 8 or a negative 8? It's positive 8 because the negative is with the x, right? This negative, this minus is not with the 8. Okay, it's a positive 8. How do I get rid of a positive 8? I subtract an 8. So if I subtract an 8 from this side, I subtract an 8 from the other side. And then what happens to these 8s? They add up to 0. They cancel out. Now bring down this. Do I just bring down an x? What do I bring down? I got to bring down the minus as well. Bring down the minus x. And what's this going to be? 4 minus 8. That's negative 4. We're not done, though. So x isn't negative 4. What is this negative doing to that x? It's making it negative, but really it's a what? It's a negative 1. Very good. Now you don't have to put a 1 there. I'm just doing this to show you what we're doing. Okay, this is a negative 1. So it's negative 1 times x. How do I get rid of something? If it's being multiplied, I do the opposite. Just like we did the opposite over here. It's being multiplied. What's the opposite of multiplication? It's division. So I divide by what? A negative 1. And then if I do that to that side, I come over here and I do it to this side. Okay? Now look at this. Now, do these add up to 0 like the 3's did over here? No. But they do what, though? They divide out to be a 1. They divide out to be a 1. Okay? Anything divided by itself is what? It's 1. Okay? So really, they cancel out as well, don't they? But they cancel out for a different reason than the other one canceled out. The other one canceled out because they add up to 0. These cancel out because they divide out to be a what? A 1. And what is that 1 doing to that x? Multiplying. So that's how we get x by itself. And then you come over here, negative 4 divided by negative 1 is positive 4. So that's how you do that. Let's do one more. Bell's going to ring, but just hang on for just a second. What about this? Now, this one's a little bit trickier. Now, again, we can do this in our head, but let's figure out what we're going to do mathematically or algebraically. Okay. Well, yes, we will do that, and I'll show you why. Okay, now look, the bell's going to ring any second, so just hang on. What I'm going to do is x is on the bottom. I don't want the x on the bottom, so I want it on top. So the way I do it, everybody watch and write this down. I don't know why you're packing up. So what you're going to do is you're going to multiply this side by x. How did I know to multiply it? Because I want to get rid of it. I want to put it on the other side. So how do I do that? I do the opposite. You were dividing by x. What's the opposite of dividing? It's multiplying. So I come over here and I multiply by x. This cancels out, or divides out to be a 1. So that's a 12 equals 4x. One more step and we're done. I got to get rid of this 4. How do I do that? Divide it by 4. What's 12 divided by 4? It's 3, and that's how you do it. We will definitely get a lot harder in the next tomorrow when we teach the rest of this lesson.